Oh, those Marauders are nothing but bullies. They must find a way to beat them more fully. Oh, but Archer and crew teaches these people how to fish, so that they might find their most hopeful wish. We'll get into that and more. I'm Josh.
I'm Justin.
I forgot who I was for a second.
I was enthralled by your narrative. I couldn't remember my name.
And this is From There to Here. So on the IMDb, this is what... This is Marauders, by the way, Season 2, Episode 6. And on the IMDb, this is what it's officially about. Enterprise visits a colony with a deuterium trading post, but the people seem to be pretty unwilling to trade. Are they hiding something? Really? You think? And it is rated as a 6.6, which was the exact same rating as last week's episode, A Night in Sick Bay. That is a crime.
I agree.
That is a crime. Major crime. Major Crimes, like the TV show.
Oh, boy.
Okay. What would you like to add to this soup?
Well, there wasn't a lot of terribly interesting stuff. They shot this in Ventura.
As well as in the episode, there was. We're going to get into
on
that.
The wall here. Yeah, so they shot the outside, the exterior stuff in Ventura about an hour from where they normally film.
Okay.
But the initial pitch for Star Trek itself by Gene Roddenberry included a similar episode premise called Kentucky, Kentucky. This story would have had Captain Robert April and the crew of
Kentucky.
Yeah, well, it was Western times.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
This story would have had Captain Robert April and the crew of the USS Yorktown visit a human colony which had been previously attacked by Viking-like aliens. This resulted in the colonists reverting in appearance to that seen during the American frontier era. April and his crew then band together to help the colonists fight off the aliens. It does sound very similar, but that said, this is pretty much the plot of every episode of A-Team ever. So
is that what this was?
Well, this was totally an A-Team episode.
I guess I don't remember the A-Team as well as you do.
It was basically this. They came to town. Some bullies are beating up on some weaker guys, and the A-Team helps them build defense to run the bullies away. It's a very cliched plot. So I'm sure many series have had similar type episodes.
That's funny because, when I was watching it, I was thinking it was reminding me of something else. Not the A-Team, but
right.
Of two things in particular. Army of Darkness and the Three Amigos.
Three Amigos, okay.
Yes, that was a good trick.
I guess the Klingons are their El Guapo.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, their El Guapo is nowhere near as charming and funny.
No. The real El Guapo was really something.
It's El Guapo, right?
El Guapo. That's
El
right.
Guapo. Yeah,
that's right. But the Klingons do have a plethora of weapons.
Do they have a plethora? A plethora of weapons?
Do you know what a plethora is?
Oh, I don't have your intellect and education. Yeah, they didn't actually. They had disruptors and they had their batlets. That was it.
Yeah, I guess that was.
So they didn't.
It's a lot more weapons than the colonists have.
So we did talk during the episode, but not in great length. We basically were taking shots at it. We were kind of picking at it a little bit.
Yeah, basically.
This is not a good episode. It's not a bad one either. I wouldn't go as far as to call it a nothing burger, but man, I still feel hungry.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
One of the bits of trivia that I read said that aside from it not being rated very well by the audience, that critics also did highlight the lack of consequences in the action.
Yeah,
that they're facing off against Klingons and there's no consequences. No one gets hurt. No one even gets a bloodied nose. And
there are consequences we hear about that happened
right
however many visits ago when they apparently killed 3 of the
four
of whatever alien species this is.
Desert,
alien species 4572 with bumps on their forehead.
Exactly.
It doesn't really matter. They're human, basically.
Yeah,
they're human enough for all intents and purposes. I wasn't bored watching it. I was fine with it, but I think maybe what they were going for was they've been having a lot of so last week we were talking about like Archer really didn't learn anything, and that was stemming from a kind of a longer story arc of them getting into situations, getting themselves involved with alien species and not really learning very much, or maybe they are learning a little bit, but because they're kind of feeling their way through this first contact territory in the universe and whatnot. But generally, the results have been kind of not good. They've been coming off as the humans. I mean, the Enterprise crew has been coming off not very well. So I think maybe what the writers were trying to do here was, and the showrunners in general, was like, maybe can we restore some like morality to the Enterprise crew, like have them stand up for some people or something. And so they do that here. And I was like, well, because they bring up to DePaul, Archer brings up to DePaul, and maybe someone else does, I can't really remember, but it's like, I want to help these people, but is it going to be against some kind of code, or they have no
Grumba.
What's the word I'm looking for? They don't have the thing yet that I can't remember.
The Prime Directive.
They don't have the Prime Directive yet.
Well, this is not a civilization. This is a band of settlers, which is very different.
Right, but it is a different people. So they're not. Yeah, they're not. They don't know exactly what they'd be interfering with, but Archer, being Archer, wants to get involved, and so does Trip wants to get involved. They want to stop them.
Well, even DePaul does.
But that's what I was getting at, is that he brings it up to DePaul, and DePaul says, well, I actually agree with you. I think we should help.
Well, since you mentioned the Prime Directive, they were not allowed to get involved in the development of another culture. However, that's not what this is. And as we learned in the case of Pen Pals, they had to wait until she asked for help, because
that's true. And they
knew it's one of the main reasons why the Prime Directive exists is to protect those that are not spacefaring from the outside world.
How could they even know these people were spacefaring, though?
Obviously, they are not indigenous to this world. It's obvious that they came here and are doing a job, and at some point they'll leave. This is obviously not their home world.
Because the Enterprise just drops in on them.
No, yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was made clear that this is the only settlement there. And so, they are spacefaring, so you're not protecting them from anything. You're not interrupting their development. And B, at first he says no, but eventually the leader of this colony basically says, okay, help us out. And so, they're free. The Prime Directive doesn't apply in this case.
I see what they were going for.
Of course.
I don't think it was, well, let me explain a little bit more. The leader, whose character I can't remember the name of.
Howard Butts.
To us, he's a guy named Howard Butts, which will mean nothing to anybody listening to this. No one else is
listening anyway, so what does that matter?
I'm trying to find the character's name.
Tessio, Tesseract, something like that. From what I saw in the...
Oh, there it is. It's Tessic.
Yeah, see, I told you. I was right.
Larry Cedar.
Yeah.
Who played a character named Howard Butts in one of our favorite movies called Feds with Rebecca De Mornay.
Check it out.
It's great. Anyway, so Tessic is the only settler that's being pretty resistant to the Enterprise crew being there and asking for deuterium. Hey, do you want to trade? He's like, no, leave. Okay, do this, then leave. Like, why are you being so uncooperative? And Archer can see that, but it's just right beneath the surface, this question of why are you being so argumentative? What's the problem? And he doesn't bring it up, and it's too much. It's so obvious that it becomes awkward. So you want it to come up in conversation, but it doesn't. And so they just have a weird look. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really work. I mean, I know you're trying to build some tension here, but are you following me here? Like, did it work for you? Like,
no, not at all.
Okay, because it didn't for me.
Honestly, well, I don't want to go into what it could have been, because then we're into the writer's room. So first, let's start with this. Let me ask you this. Okay, so this came in at a rating the same as A Night in Sickbay, which is generally quite low. In your opinion, does the... What is this IMDb rating?
Yes.
Right? Do you feel this IMDb rating is accurate, is justified? Of a 6 point something?
No, because if we're gauging it based off of other IMDb ratings, like like Rogue Planet and Terra Nova were like 6.5. Like this is light
better.
years. This is like Oscar Emmy territory. Like come on, those are horrible episodes.
Right.
This was watchable.
This is Driving Miss Daisy compared to Fast and the Furious. Come on, it's like way better, obviously, than those two episodes.
Yes, this is much more watchable. I wasn't bored. And we got to see T'Pol in her Buck Rogers outfit for the first time. So
looking pretty good, I must say. And she got a fresh haircut too.
Yeah, they did something with her hair. I couldn't say.
I think it was shorter and tighter, like tighter to the scalp. You know, it wasn't as bulky as it's been. I think she looks.
She did some very unconvincing kung fu.
Yeah, she pretty much telegraphed exactly what she was going to do. Any Klingon warrior in year one could have chopped her up.
And the stunt double didn't do a very good job either.
Yeah,
that was kind of weak sauce. I thought they could have done a little bit better than that. Anyway, did you want to go into the writer's room? Because I think this episode is kind of a wash in terms of...
I think the episode absolutely is ready to be rewritten, so let's do it.
Yeah, it's...
So, to be clear...
I think in order to make this better, to make it at least a little bit better, we're going to have to make these Klingons more threatening.
Well, I have a thought on that.
Okay.
But for anyone that's really, and there are maybe a small handful of people out there who may not know this episode specifically, so let's just really quick.
Well, I mean, when you told me last week it's Marauders, I didn't even know what that was.
Well,
I was like, I don't remember.
All it is, Enterprise shows up at a little mining community, and we're talking a community of what, 50 people maybe, something like that. And Klingons are showing up every season, I think is the deal. Every farming season, because they're farming deuterium. And they basically steal almost all of their crop and give them very little left to actually make their living. And so Archer sees them as bullies, and he's trying to talk the leader into fighting against them. The leader doesn't want to do it at first because he's afraid of the repercussions. But then he eventually realizes this can't continue. This is not sustainable. So he agrees to let Archer and crew help them, not as in Archer and company just fight off the Klingons because they're right. They would just come right back. These guys have to believe that it's just the farmers essentially fighting up against them. Even when they see Enterprise crew members, they're disguised. So they think they don't know. The Klingons never knew Enterprise was there ever. So that's it. That's the plot. And one of our issues also brought up in that thing that I read was that there was no physical consequences to the violence, which only happens at the end when they decide to confront the Klingons. And
horrible tactics, by the way.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we mentioned that when the Klingons beam in at the end, they're all standing in a very tight circle together, and they are just open targets to be shot, and they have weapons. Not the Klingons, the settlers have weapons. They can start shooting them right then and killing some of them, but they don't.
It was obviously the intention of the settlers and the Enterprise
to draw
not
them,
to kill any of them.
Yes, to draw them to a particular place
and scare them away. Yeah, like that would work. But anyway, okay, so your first thing was make the Klingons more threatening.
Yeah.
So, all right, so here's my first writer's room thought, right? The Klingons show up twice. They show up in, what would you say, the end of the first act to show themselves, to say, we'll be back in a few days for all of our stuff. You better have it ready. Then they leave, giving the Enterprise crew time to train these guys and make their defenses and all that. So my first suggestion, and this is just a little thing, don't have the invading species, and I'm going to say they're not going to be Klingons, don't have the species that's coming to take the deuterium, don't show them until the final act when they actually arrive. Just have the guys say, no, they're coming. Like, have their impending arrival be the real time, the time's ticking away, the clock, the ticking clock. But here's my thing. Go against type. So here we have these guys, the farmers, the settlers, whatever you want to call them. They are basically human with a little nub on their forehead, right? Make these people like big, Nausicaan looking people, but they're friendly. Like, they're not violent. They're just big. And then, so the Enterprise crew thinks, well, Jesus, whoever these other guys are, they must be monsters to, even these guys are pacifists, and they could be pacifists even, but they're huge. Like, surely no one would mess with these guys. And so at the end, not the end, the final act, when the bad guys arrive, it's not huge hulking guys. It's like Andorians or something like that, like just little guys. And have it be that, and you could have these, and I'm using the term Nausicaans. I don't think it should have been Nausicaans, but Nausicaan-like, where those guys just look mean and nasty, and have them go, they're so cruel. When they're here, they do these cruel things to our people. And you're like, oh my God, what are these people like? Then when they finally arrive, it's just like little guys, but they are ferocious. They're like mean. They're really mean and vicious, but they're little guys. And have it just be different. Just like where you made the reference where Archer is always learning that maybe they don't have it all figured out. And they have to think about different cultural beliefs and all that. Have a culture that looks big and intimidating, but is not.
Okay, I like where you're going with this, but I have a problem with the way you just made that setup.
Okay.
With this point. The settlers being big guys and maybe intimidating looking, but friendly, I like. That's fine. But if the other guys, if the bullies are too small, it's going to come off as comic.
I'm not talking like dwarfs.
No.
I mean, just average guys. Like not, you would think physically these guys could totally beat them.
Okay. Just keep them normal size.
Oh, I didn't mean not normal size.
Well, you kind of implied that they might be small. And
that's
meant
gonna come smaller
off as
than the Nausicaan-like people. That's all. Average size. Let's call them that. Not Klingons, not big guys. Just like you and me, just average guys.
Okay,
but they're armed. And
I don't know if I can get on board with your idea of them only coming in at the final act.
The only reason is to save the reveal that they are not what you would think they are.
But seeing the Klingons in the first act in this episode establishes the threat to us. We can see how intimidating they are to these settlers.
I guess Archer needs to see that too. That's true. Then maybe, okay, fine. Have them show up, and we, the audience, at the end of Act 1 are really taken aback by, oh my gosh, this is not what we thought. And Archer could even say, you guys are a lot bigger than them. Like, have you thought about physically attacking them? Well, we don't know how. We're just, we
so what?
Bigger.
Are they just they're just pacifists?
And don't not necessarily make them pacifists, but just like these guys, they're not soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
They may be big, but they're not soldiers. But these guys coming in, they are. And they're armed and they're cruel. Whereas these guys aren't cruel. These aren't killers. I like that. I think that would be interesting. And then maybe have those guys do something quite vicious before they leave to really drive home to the settler leader, okay, we need to fight them now. We can't do this anymore. Maybe not kill someone, but like really hurt someone badly just to make a point. To show how vicious they are. You know what I mean?
One of the settlers will die in the first act.
Maybe not die. I mean, my money, yeah, sure, kill the guy.
I think there should have been some deaths.
Like all they did this time, the Klingons, was backhand some guy and that's it. Have them stab someone and kill someone. And all because they were upset, The
Klingon,
yeah,
not in what we're coming up with here, but in the actual episode, the Klingon threatens to kill the boy.
Towards the end.
What if they did kill the boy? Too far? Is that a bridge too far?
Well, you know me. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
There's no way that would get made. That.
Well,
right?
We're not talking about actually making it. Like, what if that boy who was 12 years old, what if he was the one that was killed in the first act?
That's a whole. Okay. Here's my thing with that.
That would be.
Here's my problem with that. Here's my problem with that. And actually, I think this is, no matter who, if they were to kill someone, I think here's the problem. There's no way Archer, who stood there and watched this happen, because while the Klingons were there,
what if they point their disruptors at the boy, but then that woman jumps in front of the boy and she gets shot and killed instead?
Unfortunately, I think we run into the same problem where if Archer and company actually witnessed that an act that not just violent, but some deadly, they kill someone.
We don't have to have them witness it. It can happen off camera.
No, I think this act is something Archer and company need to see. But if they witness someone get murdered in front of them, there's no they would have gone into action right then and there. They wouldn't have waited and hid.
That's a good point.
So it has to be vicious, just shy of killing.
Well, I guess that's
Maybe
clearly why they went the route they did.
Okay, what about this? What about this? So in the episode, when the Klingons beam down and the two guys from the colony come out and talk to them and they backhand the guy and that's it.
They kidnap someone?
Well, no way, I got it. And then Archer and company are watching, but the leader of the company says, no, don't interfere. You'll just make it worse. So Archer's like gritting his teeth the whole time. So what if in our version, those two guys go out there, but one of those guys is the dad of the kid in the episode that Trip is friends with, and he goes running out there, "Don't hit my dad!" And this
that's
guy,
what he sounds like.
Well, whatever. Let's say this guy hits the kid, like backhands him and knocks him on his butt.
The Klingon?
No, the alien species. I don't want them to be Klingons.
Okay, so the aliens.
The aliens.
Okay.
Let's say the aliens like really hurt the kid, like backhand him, like an adult hitting a kid. That's a big deal. And flatten the kid. And at that point, Archer and company really want to go out there, but he still says, no, hey, look, he'll heal. Don't do this. But now Archer's pissed. And so's the leader guy. Like they attacked the kid this time. But he didn't kill him. He smacked him around. But that was for the leader of the group. That could be it going, okay, now they're hurting our kids. This is no good. Now we have to stand up. Just not then. We'll do it in a couple days. What about that? And that, as an audience,
it's fair.
You go, they hit a kid.
It's fair, but I still think it's a little bit weak sauce.
How about this?
I really think someone needs to die.
What if they had a dog? What if the villager people had a dog?
No.
And they kill the dog?
No. That's harder to watch than a person getting killed.
I just think if they killed someone, Archer and company would act immediately. They would not stop.
I agree. That's why I think it needs to happen out of their line of sight.
But then it loses its dramatic punch if they're not watching it. They need to
We can see it. They can't.
All right, but it can't be the kid.
Well, that's what I said. The woman jumps in front of the kid to save him. And
Fine.
She gets shot.
So then Archer and company come out from hiding. Let's say they couldn't hear it. They just see it.
So that way,
they heard the altercation.
When Tesseract or Howard Butts, whatever you want to call him, that way, him resisting standing up to them has so much more weight behind it because now we saw someone die.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost the kid. So now it really hurts. Now he's like really caught in a corner. He's like, well, if I stand up against him, it could really be all of us this time that dies.
Right.
And it's going to be my fault. But if we just play along with it, maybe I can save them all. So with that hanging over him, not just getting pushed around and shoved onto their mats that are obviously rubber.
Yeah.
But, every time I see those things, that's all I see. It's supposed to be metal, I know, but it's rubber.
I don't think they're supposed to be metal. I think they are supposed to be
Well, you
rubber.
see those same things on like decks of other people's ships and like on Borg ships and whatnot. They're rubber floor mats.
I know.
You put them on in restaurants and stuff like it always takes me out of the moment. Anyway, that I think would have much more gravity.
All right.
Much more weight.
I'm with you.
Much more dramatic tension.
Okay. So we've changed that. Everything in the first act essentially plays as is until you get to the end, and then we have our change. You're on board with changing the species, so the ones getting bullied are actually the big guys.
Not necessarily. Like I don't think we just need to change the ending. I don't think everything needs to stay in place. I think if maybe it was that woman who died, maybe if it was the boy's mother.
All right.
I don't know if that was his mother or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would, I think, in our eyes, strengthen the bond that's happening, but supposed to be happening between Trip and the boy.
Okay.
And also, Tesseract, Howard Butts, would have to. He was fine. I like the actor. He's fine.
Sure.
But I needed more. I needed more oomph from this guy. I needed him to be a little bit more harsher with Archer, to fight back. I know he's supposed to be a weakling, but I need.
Okay, wait. How about this? So,
like, I need him to have like some kind of like 1,000-yard stare effect and actually counteract what he's saying. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. You don't live here. Don't come down here and tell me how to do.
Fine. No. Fine. Yeah, have him be a little more aggressive in that sense. Mm-hmm. The first act ends the way we said, where someone gets killed and they beam back up, and now they're left with a couple days window until they come back. Fine. The Enterprise crew could go through the whole business of training them but a real big emphasis on offense rather than defense. They're not intending to engage them in one-on-one. Like they should, Enterprise crew would know these guys are not soldiers. They can't train them in a couple days to fight soldiers, but they can help them fight from a distance, and help them oppose them, just not fight them directly. So all of that's fine. Everything happens the way it does. Then you get to the end, those aliens come back. Things happen basically the way they said. Archer and company said, we'll herd them into this area, we'll blow up fire around them, scare them off and all that. And if you recall at the end of the episode as it is, once those Klingons, now our new species, are trapped in this box of fire, Archer says to Howard Butts, he goes, okay, you're on. And he goes out there and he tells the Klingons, better not come back because, we're going to fight you and all that. So what if now instead, this guy walks out there and he goes, you guys, is
this before any firefighting takes place?
Oh, this is after all that stuff happened.
Okay.
Once the Howard Butts character goes up to that wall of fire to tell the Klingons F off. So he goes, you guys, I don't want to see you anymore, blah, blah, blah. And they go, the aliens could say, we're going to come back tomorrow, the next day, and every other day until we get everything we want. And every time you don't do it, we're going to kill someone. And they're not backing down. And this guy could look back to Archer and Archer could give him a nod like, come on, give him hell and all that. And the guy just says, like you said, the 1,000-yard stare. He gives a look to Archer. And Archer recognizes what he's thinking, which is, we have no way out. These guys are going to come back. And Archer shakes his head. No, because Archer knows what he's thinking. And this guy turns around while these guys are trapped in fire, pulls his gun, because these guys are armed, and he kills them.
Well, he can't shoot them through that either.
Fire?
Well, because they could shoot him.
Forget that aspect of why they couldn't shoot. Come up with another reason why they didn't shoot.
Fine.
But just have our leader guy
kill them.
And then Archer could walk out and go, why did you do that? And he would say, it was a good idea. We tried, but these guys were coming back. And he would say, but we didn't train you to kill or anything like that. He said, I didn't ask you to. You helped us try and defend ourselves without killing, but clearly that wasn't going to work. So I did what I needed to do. And Archer, basically they would leave with Archer saying, this isn't what we signed on for. And we're a party to murder now. And he would say, then get out. You don't live here. Like you said, he could basically reiterate what he would have said in your version earlier, which is, you don't live here. You're not going to be here tomorrow. We are. And these guys
are not going to stay here and help us.
These guys would have
fight
come
these
back
guys every time they come back
and killed us in our sleep.
Right.
So I did what needed to be done. Thanks for your help. And Archer would have said, well, bye, because this isn't what we signed on for. And I think that would have been a dark, interesting ending.
A much more interesting ending.
Yeah.
Because they went in trying to help these people and now they feel guilty for what they just did.
Everything was going to plan up until that last moment where that guy realized this is not going to work. Bullies like that don't just leave. They're going to come back. Mm-hmm. And he knows that. And so he did what he felt he had to do. And
it's like trying to negotiate with Biff. It doesn't work.
It's not going to work.
You have to knock Biff out.
Yeah.
And completely subdue him, or else he'll just keep bullying you.
As soon as he wakes up, he's coming back unless you've given him a reason. And that guy, our Butts, could have extinguished the fire, picked up that guy's radio and said, I've just killed your captain and all of his buddies.
I thought you were going to have him say, Mots,
No, nothing so but have him say, and to drive it home, say whoever's left on that ship, you come back and you're going to die here with them. And then have them say, ooh, they just warped out of orbit, and go, I think they're gone. But if not, I'll kill anyone else who comes back. And that's when Archer realizes, much like we've been talking about, how Archer continuously has to learn, while he did the right thing for the right reasons, he did not foresee this as being a result.
Well, I think that's also a good learning moment for them and for us watching, that you can't change the morality of,
you can't change nature
of these alien people that you know nothing about. Like, you don't know what their morals are, and you're thinking that they're going to adopt Starfleet morals. human morals. It's like, well, no. It's like they have their own interests.
It's not even the people that they were trying to help, because that guy did something that he felt was the only way to end the situation. It's that no matter how much they tried, they can't change the nature of those bad guys.
No.
They're going to keep being jerks.
Mm-hmm. It's a necessary evil.
Exactly.
And I think that's what Archer would come to in the end.
Right. Well, I suppose in our theoretical alternate ending here, if the exchange then at the end between Archer and the leader of this settlement happens, where it's like there's no winner. It's not like the guy in the settlement liked what he had to do. He felt he had to do it. So Archer leaves feeling little ambiguous about his involvement in this, because now people are dead as a result of him basically pushing this guy to defend themselves.
And this could call back to Desert Crossing, like when they ran into that guy that heard about, oh, you helped such and such.
Okay, but what if this time,
we keep going out here, we think we're helping people, but then,
what about this, though? What if earlier in the episode, which was not common, where Archer was he thought he was arguing his point to T'Pol, and T'Pol said, I agree with you. I think we should help. So what if at the end, right after this happened, they're back in his ready room and Archer is saying, what just happened? I'm responsible for this, and the point being is have Archer now on his own without any prompting go, all the times that you told me not to get involved, this is the first time I actually regret getting involved, because like everything you just said, now I've made some of those stories true, and now this story is going to be told. And what have I done here? What have I done? And he could really be saying, I think I made a mistake. I could not see this outcome, and therefore I've made a mistake. And he could even specifically and tell me what her answer would be. He could ask T'Pol, did I make a mistake by getting involved? I mean, I couldn't have predicted what this guy did. Did I make a mistake? Given what then just happened, what would T'Pol say to him? What do you think a fitting response would be?
Well, I think logically, she would say, you made the right choice.
How about this?
But you had no idea. You couldn't predict what happened.
That's exactly what I was going to say. She could say, you did what you had to do. And Howard Butts
did what he had to do.
It was not an ideal conclusion, but that's life, and this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. You can't.
Yeah, you had a choice.
You made a choice.
Howard Butts
involved.
had a choice. He did not have to kill them. He could have let them go, but he decided to kill them.
Say you made a choice to try and help. He tried, but then he went this far, and she could say, "This is the lesson to be learned. We don't know if what he did was the right choice or not. We're not going to be here tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was." And she said, "That's what you should ask yourself. Was it the right choice?" And be right with and be okay with the fact that we will never have an answer to that question.
She could also remind him, all we did was help these people defend themselves. Mm-hmm. We didn't tell them to kill anyone. That was his decision. He made it on his own. That the weight should be off of Archer's shoulders at that point, because that was a decision Howard Butts made if he killed them.
And she could maybe even...
He didn't have to, but he
Archer
did.
Throws out to that leader guy, the Howard Butts guy, he mentions the Earth expression, give a man a fish and he eats for a day, teach him how to fish and he eats forever. She could, let's pretend she was part of that conversation. She could throw that back at him and say, all you did was teach him how to fish. What he did with that knowledge is his choice. Mm-hmm. Right or wrong, we'll never know, but it was his choice. Sleep well tonight, because you did the right thing trying to help. Beyond that, that's all you can do. You can't save everyone the way you want to save them.
I like that line. If she called it back, which means she would have the fishing
She'd
line.
have to be there.
She would have to have been there in the earlier scene when he said it to Howard Butts. But yeah, if she said that at the end, all you did was teach them how to fish, and he would understand what that means.
That's it. Go out on that line.
Yeah.
All you did was teach him how to fish. I think that end there. It's all said in that expression. All you did was teach him how to fish. That's it.
I like it.
Fade out.
I like it.
Roll credits.
I like it. Should we call it oh yeah. What about new title?
Okay. It was called Marauders.
Marauders. Did you have a different title in mind? You like Marauders?
Yeah, it's all right. Do you not like it?
It's a little
Bland?
ambiguous. It doesn't do much to excite me. I see that and I'm like, okay, what is that? Are they good Marauders? Bad? Like, who? Are they, what's going on here?
Could we make it? Is there like a fishing term or a fishing
That's what
expression?
I was thinking of, like,
gone fishing.
Gone fishing. Oh God.
Golden rods. Iron rods.
No. I like gone fishing, but that doesn't make any sense. In the parody version
Fish
of this
or
episode.
cut bait.
Bait and switch.
Bait and switch. There it is. Double meaning. Bait and switch. And that's basically what they were doing at the end too.
Yes.
So that fits on a whole lot of levels.
Bait and switch.
Bait and switch.
Beautiful.
Call it tackle box.
Tackle box. Oh, is that
that's where they keep all their stuff. Their tackle box.
That's what those things are called. Okay.
No, bait and switch.
Bait and switch, baby.
Let's call it that.
I like it.
All
right. Ratings, grades. I'll let you go first.
All right. The episode as is, I'll give it a B minus.
Ooh, that's much stronger than I imagined.
It's not a bad episode. It's just formulaic and it doesn't have consequences, but it's not like it's a bad
you're gonna
episode.
have to explain, because I think that's completely overrated.
And like you said, it's not like it's boring or anything. I wasn't bored when watching it. So just because it kind of wusses out, that doesn't mean that it's not a good episode. I mean, it's not a great episode.
Doesn't sound like it's not much of a defense.
Middle of the road, B minus. I don't think you're getting into C territory with this.
I'll give it a C plus.
Okay.
I thought it was slightly above average.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like Ralphie's Paper in A Christmas Story, C plus. That's it. You know, it was fine, but not that great. It was. I wouldn't.
I mean, my B minus is sitting there right next to you. So
yeah, but you still have the B.
You don't think it even deserves a B?
No, not at all. I think we should go back and look at your other B minuses to see what.
Now you're making me wonder, what did I give it? I know I gave a B minus to something just recently. It wasn't A Night in Sickbay, was it? Was it?
It might have been. I'm not sure.
Because, I would say it's the same thing.
Did we even grade A Night in Sickbay?
Sure.
Am I suddenly forgetting about this?
I don't know.
I don't remember now, but okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna stick with that because it's not like it's bad. It's not bad. I think when you start getting into C territory, it's that there's something really not right, and I don't think there's anything really not right. It's just a little. This episode just lacks grumba. That's all.
Well, all right. I'm not going to argue with you any further because it's going to get nowhere. I'm going to stick with my C plus.
All right then.
Did you have any awards you'd like to give, or any moments you'd like to point out? Dialogue, anything of that nature?
Well, I have an award.
Okay.
The No Grumbo award.
Oh, fine. That's obvious. Who does it go to?
The guy that got backhanded by the Klingons and just kind of wussed out.
Oh, him? That guy?
There.
Not the main guy?
He
was the coward.
He stood up to them. He went and faced them.
Yeah,
but that other guy got backhanded.
But all these seasons, he's been just letting them take their deuterium. Come on.
Yeah, he does deserve the Grumba.
They both deserve it.
You're right.
The whole colony deserves
they're all wusses.
They all deserve the No Grumba award for cowardice.
Yeah, you're right.
They're cowards.
All of them. They're yellow.
When the shit hits the fan, some guys run and some guys stay. That's right. Oh, sorry. Anyway, did you have another award?
Off the top of my head, no.
Did you have any lines, moments?
No, I wish I did, but no.
Well, I'd like to award the Shatner Award to. Well, it's kind of a. It's kind of brief. I think to Paul trying to do kung fu, and then the woman ducking and rolling when she's fighting the Klingon. I think they both deserved best dramatic performance for that. Don't you?
Definitely.
That was some Shatner rolling around she was doing.
It was very theatrical.
Yes, it was. Okay.
Agreed.
I do have a few trivia questions.
All right.
They are all number related. I have no idea why it ended up that way. But okay. When the band of Klingons were wondering why their deuterium wasn't ready, the Howard Butts character told them that a certain number of water pumps weren't working anymore. Okay, yes, it was 2 water pumps.
Deuterium pumps.
Okay, the band of Klingons, how many?
How many constitutes a band?
How many? There's a number. There was a number. How many?
5?
7.
Oh, all right.
How many settlers were there? They say it specifically. There is a number.
You're the only person in the world that's going to get this reference, but 47.
Do I get that reference? 47? Oh, okay.
There
47?
you go. I knew you'd get
Okay,
there.
got it. No, much more than that. About 30 more. 76.
Okay.
76 settlers. 76 cowards.
I wonder how many Klingons were on the ship. The Klingon ship itself, I wonder.
They did say they picked up 12 biosigns. That was on the ship. But
Now,
it was 7 that
granted,
went down.
The settlers would have no idea how many people are on their ship. Our Archer and crew could have very easily said, guys, there's only 12 of them. Come on. And like 7 of them just beam down like right into a shooting gallery for you. Just shoot them. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah.
Did you have any trivia for me? Because you haven't so far.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm really bad about
that. Fine.
What was the boy's name?
Jethro. What was it?
I don't know. I'll have to actually look. Let's see. Boy. It doesn't say boy. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's Kel.
Kel, maybe. Might be.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, whatever.
We're looking at the cast list, everyone. Yeah. But so this week we heard back from Marissa. So she says, hey guys, the episode with Chakotay is cathexis. So if you didn't hear last week's episode, we were talking about the episode where Chakotay sleeps through the entire thing. And it turns out, we couldn't remember what the episode title was. It turns out it's called cathexis. And that's where we got the Soapy Chakotay. The Soapy Chakotay.
Soapy Chakotay.
You christened the Soapy Chakotay Award for anyone who sleeps during the episode. But she says, but there is also an episode with B'Elanna where she sleeps through the whole episode. She doesn't say, but Marissa doesn't say which one it is.
Well, Marissa, come on, help us out.
Okay. You could make either one of them your Soap Dish Award. Okay. If you guys need some good trivia questions about upcoming episodes, I've got lots. I think that's a great idea.
Open it up for trivia?
Yeah. So Marissa, send us your trivia. And we'll anybody out there who wants to send us trivia questions, you think you can stump us on upcoming episodes, or you think it'd be fun to test others? Yeah, by all means, send that in. We'd love to hear that. So she continues, I'm still working on the recipes for the Star Trek drinks, but in the meantime, the recipe for one of my favorite drinks I've created is at the bottom. Hope you enjoy. And she has sent us the recipe. It's an absinthe margarita. It looks really complicated. That's why we hadn't made it, because I think we mentioned this last week. She's a bartender.
Right.
So she knows how to do this kind of thing. We're not. So we're kind of simpletons. So I don't think
we don't know how to make drinks. We just know how to order them.
Basically, yeah. I can add a few things. Stir this requires a lot of.
That requires tools that we don't have.
We have to have a shaker and some other things too. I can't do it. But
bar speak.
I did respond to Marissa. I think it's great that she sent us that. Hopefully she has a backup recipe she can send us that's a little easier to make for us, because we'll still drink it during the show.
Sure.
Absolutely. So if anybody else...
we should do is drink it while watching the episode, so we're good and full of that drink by the time we record.
We'll be... come on. No.
That'll make us fall asleep.
Yeah, we have to do it while we're...
While we're talking?
Yes, while we're talking. Yeah.
So our speech will slur right in the middle of talking?
Yes. So if anybody would like to write into us, the email is podcastnx01@gmail.com. Also, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and rate the podcast, please.
Yes. And I know I talked to you about this, but I don't know what you said. If you said you emailed Marissa back and asked her this question.
Oh,
but
yeah, I know where you're going.
The question was both to Marissa and even to Jonathan, who wrote into us before. How did you come across our podcast? We're very curious. Did you look up Enterprise? How did you find us?
Yeah, was it a Google
What was it, a
search?
fluke that you found us? I mean, obviously you weren't looking for us by name, so we're just curious. How did you find us? And we'd like to know because we'd like to try and reach more people. So we're just curious. And if you went looking, this is my own personal question, if you went looking for an Enterprise podcast, how many did you find? And what made you decide to try ours?
Yeah, why this one and not
whatever the other one might be? Just out of curiosity, let us know. And thanks for listening.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's a given. But yes, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add before we sign off? Oh, what's next?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, just the title. Tell me.
Okay, I know this episode.
Okay.
The 7th.
The 7th.
Yes.
Ooh, I don't remember what that is. The title's familiar. I know the title. I just don't remember.
I'll give you one other thing. I won't tell you anything about the episode. I'll tell you the guest actor. The guest actor is Bruce Davidson. Do you know who Bruce Davidson is?
Yeah.
Well, he's in it.
It's not helping.
You know who he is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just not picturing.
He plays a Vulcan. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Something's coming in my mind's eye right now. I think I'm seeing the episode.
My memory is this is a good episode.
Okay. Well, I hope so.
I've revisited this one. This is a good one. I'm looking forward to this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Bruce Davidson's a good actor. I mean, he's a film actor. So, he kind of brings a certain gravity to it. And we actually get some Travis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's basically...
yeah, Mayweather did not get a lot to do in this episode. He had no dialogue.
Just showed his muscles a little bit.
He showed his muscles in the teaching people how to do kung fu scene, and then he lifted a panel off of a hut in the settlers during the montage.
Yes.
That was it.
But no, he gets play in this next episode. He's a central character, and he does well, as I recall.
Oh, man. All right. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
See you in the next one.
All right.